The spotlight dimmed to a single beam when a figure emerged from the shadows, moving with that unmistakable glide across the stage. 60,000 fans held their breath as they realized they were witnessing the impossible. The king of pop and the king of hip-hop together on the same stage for the first and only time in music history. It was October 31st, 1995. At the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, Tupac was performing a Halloween concert that had already become legendary for its elaborate production and surprise guests. But nothing could have prepared the massive crowd for what was about to unfold during what started as a routine performance of California Love. The evening had begun normally enough. Tupac had opened with explosive energy, working the crowd of 60,000 into a frenzy with hits like Dear Mama and Me Against the World. The massive outdoor venue was electric with anticipation, and Tupac was feeding off the energy like never before. But backstage, something unprecedented was happening that would change music history forever. Michael Jackson had arrived at the venue 3 hours before the show, heavily disguised and accompanied only by his personal security team. He had contacted Tupac's management earlier that week with a request that shocked everyone involved. He wanted to join Tupac on stage for one song. The request was so unexpected that Tupac's team initially thought it was a prank. Michael Jackson, the global superstar who rarely made unplanned appearances, wanted to perform with Tupac Shakur, the controversial rapper whose music was often criticized by mainstream media. But the request was genuine, and it came with a story that revealed a side of both artists that the public had never seen. 2 weeks earlier, Michael had been struggling with personal and professional challenges that had been heavily covered in the media. He had reached out privately to several artists for support and perspective, and Tupac had responded with a phone call that lasted nearly 3 hours. During that conversation, Tupac had shared his own experiences with media scrutiny, public judgment, and the pressure of being a cultural icon. He had offered Michael advice, support, and most importantly, genuine friendship, without asking for anything in return. Pac treated me like a human being when most people were treating me like a headline, Michael later revealed in a rare interview. He reminded me why I fell in love with music in the first place. The two artists had continued talking over the following weeks, discussing music, creativity, and their shared experiences of fame and criticism. When Michael learned about Tupac's Halloween concert, he made an impulsive decision that would create one of the most memorable moments in entertainment history. But what happened when Michael actually stepped onto that stage would exceed everyone's wildest expectations. As Tupac reached the bridge of California Love, the stage lights suddenly dimmed to almost complete darkness. A single spotlight appeared at the back of the stage, revealing a silhouette that made the entire crowd gasp in recognition. Michael Jackson stood motionless for a moment, letting the audience process what they were seeing. Then he began to move, performing his signature moonwalk across the stage toward where Tupac was standing. The crowd's reaction was unlike anything anyone at the venue had ever experienced. 60,000 people screamed so loudly that the sound could be heard for miles around the stadium. Many fans were crying. Others were jumping up and down in disbelief, and some were simply standing in stunned silence. Tupac himself seemed momentarily speechless, though he later revealed that he had been told about the surprise only minutes before it happened. "I knew Mike was coming," Tupac said afterward, "but seeing him actually walk out on that stage, seeing 60,000 people lose their minds, that was something no one could have prepared me for." As Michael reached center stage, he grabbed a microphone that had been placed there specifically for this moment. What he said next would be quoted for decades afterward. "Pasadena," Michael said in that unmistakable soft voice. "Are you ready to witness history?" The crowd erupted again, but Michael held up his hand for silence. "I want you to meet my friend," he continued, gesturing toward Tupac, "a true artist, a real poet, and someone who reminds me every day why music matters." Tupac stepped forward, still somewhat in shock, but beginning to smile as he realized the magnitude of what was happening. "You are Sithal," Tupac said into his microphone. "I don't even know what to say right now. This is Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson, and he sits here to perform with us tonight." What happened next would become one of the most talked about collaborations in music history. Instead of performing one of either artist's existing songs, Michael and Tupac did something completely unexpected. They began improvising a completely new song, right there on stage, in front of 60,000 witnesses. Michael started with a simple beat, clapping his hands and moving to a rhythm that was pure pop perfection. Tupac picked up the rhythm and began laying down a rap verse that perfectly complemented Michael's melodic foundation. The lyrics were about unity, respect, and the power of music to bring different worlds together. Michael sang about dreams and healing, while Tupac rapped about struggle and triumph. Their voices blended in ways that seemed impossible given their completely different styles. But the most remarkable part was how naturally they worked together. There was no awkwardness, no sense that this was a forced collaboration. Instead, it felt like two master musicians discovering a new language together. The crowd was mesmerized. Many people later described it as a religious experience, watching two legends create something beautiful and unprecedented in real time. "I've never seen anything like it," said concert promoter James Morrison, who had worked with major artists for decades. "It wasn't just a duet, it was like watching lightning in a bottle." The improvised song lasted nearly 15 minutes, with both artists feeding off each other's energy and creativity. Michael would start a melody, and Tupac would find the perfect words to match it. Tupac would create a rhythm, and Michael would discover harmonies that elevated it to something transcendent. But the moment that truly left 60,000 fans in awe was still to come. As the improvised song reached its climax, Michael and Tupac stood side by side at the center of the stage. Michael began singing a slowed-down, soulful version of "We Are the World," while Tupac provided spoken-word poetry that perfectly complemented the melody. Then something magical happened. Without any prompting or coordination, the entire crowd of 60,000 people began singing along. Their voices created a massive choir that seemed to fill not just the stadium but the entire night sky. The image of Michael Jackson and Tupac Shakur, two of music's most iconic and controversial figures, standing together while 60,000 people sang about unity and hope, became one of the most powerful moments in concert history. It was like the whole world came together in that moment, reflected fan Maria Rodriguez, who was 23 when she attended the concert. All the divisions, all the arguments about different kinds of music, all the controversy, none of that mattered. It was just pure music and pure love. As the song ended, Michael and Tupac embraced on stage, and the crowd gave them a standing ovation that lasted nearly 10 minutes. Many people in the audience were openly crying, moved by the unexpected beauty and unity they had just witnessed. But the impact of that October night extended far beyond the stadium. News of the Michael Jackson-Tupac collaboration spread around the world within hours. Music journalists, who had been covering the rivalry between different genres and generations of artists, suddenly found themselves writing about unity and artistic collaboration. The impromptu performance challenged every assumption people had about musical boundaries and artistic limitations. If Michael Jackson and Tupac Shakur could create something beautiful together, what other impossible collaborations might be possible? The collaboration also had immediate effects on both artists' careers and public images. Michael, who had been dealing with intense media scrutiny, was suddenly being praised for his willingness to embrace different forms of music and connect with younger artists. Tupac, often criticized for his controversial lyrics and public feuds, was being recognized for his ability to bridge different worlds and create moments of genuine artistic beauty. The Rose Bowl performance showed people a different side of both artists, noted music critic Angela Davis. It demonstrated that real artists can transcend their public images and create something greater than themselves. The collaboration also influenced how the music industry approached cross-genre partnerships and unexpected artistic combinations. Record labels began seeking out more collaborations between artists from different backgrounds and musical styles. But perhaps the most significant impact was on the concept of unity and artistic collaboration in popular culture. The image of Michael and Tupac performing together became a symbol of how music could overcome divisions and bring people together. The 60,000 fans who witnessed the Rose Bowl collaboration became ambassadors for this message of unity, carrying the memory of that magical night into their own communities and relationships. Many described the experience as life-changing, fundamentally altering how they thought about music, creativity, and the possibility of finding common ground with people who seemed completely different from themselves. That night taught me that you never know what's possible until you see it happen, said fan David Chen, who later became a music producer. Michael and Tupac showed me that the best art comes from unexpected places. The collaboration also had lasting effects on both artists personally. Michael and Tupac maintained their friendship until Tupac's death in 1996, often speaking privately about music, creativity, and their shared experiences of fame. Michael later credited Tupac with helping him reconnect with his love of music during a difficult period in his life. Pac reminded me that music isn't set about perfection or image, it's sets about truth and connection, Michael said in a later interview. That night at the Rose Bowl we found something real together. The improvised song they created on stage was never officially recorded, but bootleg audio from that night became one of the most treasured recordings among fans of both artists. The raw, spontaneous creativity captured on those recordings continues to inspire musicians and fans around the world. Years later, other major artists began citing the Rose Bowl collaboration as inspiration for their own unexpected partnerships and creative risks. Michael and Tupac showed us that the most powerful music comes from courage. The courage to step outside your comfort zone and create something with someone completely different from yourself, reflected rapper Jay-Z in a 2010 interview. The Rose Bowl performance also became a case study in spontaneous creativity and cross-cultural artistic collaboration. Music schools and creativity workshops began using the story to teach students about improvisation, artistic risk-taking, and the power of authentic collaboration. Today, October 31st, 1995, is remembered as the night when two musical legends proved that art has the power to transcend every boundary and bring together even the most unlikely collaborators. The Rose Bowl includes a commemorative marker acknowledging the historical significance of that Halloween night, recognizing it as a moment when impossible became possible through the universal language of music. The 60,000 fans who witnessed the collaboration between the King of Pop and the King of Hip Hop understood that they had seen something unprecedented. Two artists at the height of their powers choosing to create something beautiful together instead of competing or maintaining distance. In an era of musical division and artistic rivalry, Michael Jackson and Tupac Shakur showed that the most powerful response to difference is curiosity, respect, and the willingness to discover what becomes possible when great artists choose collaboration over competition. The secret appearance that left 60,000 fans in awe proved that the greatest moments in music history often happen when artists follow their hearts instead of industry expectations, when they choose courage over comfort, and when they remember that music's greatest power lies in its ability to unite rather than divide. The ripple effects that transformed music forever. The Michael Jackson-Tupac collaboration at the Rose Bowl didn't just create a magical concert moment, it fundamentally altered how the music industry understood artistic boundaries, cross-genre collaboration, and the power of spontaneous creativity. Within 48 hours of the performance, record executives across multiple genres were scrambling to create similar collaborations. The image of two seemingly incompatible artists creating something beautiful together had captured public imagination in ways that traditional marketing could never achieve. The Rose Bowl proved that audiences were hungry for authenticity and surprise, recalled former Sony music executive Marcus Johnson. Everyone suddenly realized we'd been underestimating what was possible when great artists trusted each other enough to take real creative risks. The collaboration also influenced how artists approached their own creative partnerships. Musicians who had previously stayed within their comfortable genres began reaching out to performers from completely different musical worlds. Stevie Wonder later credited the Michael-Tupac performance with inspiring his own collaborations with hip-hop artists. Seeing Michael and Pac create magic together reminded me that music has no boundaries, only the ones we create in our own minds, Wonder reflected. The impact extended beyond individual collaborations to influence entire music festivals and concert programming. Promoters began deliberately pairing artists from different genres, understanding that the most memorable moments often came from unexpected combinations. The Rose Bowl performance also demonstrated the power of authentic friendship between artists as the foundation for meaningful collaboration. The genuine respect and affection between Michael and Tupac was visible to everyone watching, and it elevated their performance beyond mere novelty. You could see that they really cared about each other, noted music journalist Davey D. It wasn't set just a publicity stunt or a business arrangement. It was two friends sharing something beautiful with the world. This authenticity became a template for how successful artistic collaborations should develop. Rather than forcing partnerships for commercial reasons, the industry began recognizing that the most powerful collaborations grew from genuine artistic respect and personal connection. The performance also influenced how artists thought about improvisation and spontaneous creativity in live settings. The fact that Michael and Tupac had created something entirely new on stage inspired other performers to embrace uncertainty and creative risk-taking. Before the Rose Bowl, most concerts were precisely planned and executed, explained concert production expert Sarah Chen. After seeing what Michael and Tupac accomplished through improvisation, artists became more willing to leave space for magic to happen. The collaboration had profound effects on both artists' subsequent work. Michael began incorporating more hip-hop elements into his music, while Tupac explored more melodic and pop-influenced approaches to his songwriting. That performance opened new creative doors for both of them, observed music producer Quincy Jones. They learned from each other in ways that enriched their individual artistry. The Rose Bowl performance also became a powerful symbol for racial and cultural unity during a period when music genres were often seen as representing different communities in opposition to each other. Michael and Tupac showed that music could be a bridge instead of a wall, noted cultural critic Bell Hooks. Their collaboration demonstrated that artistic excellence transcends racial and cultural boundaries. This symbolic power influenced how the music industry marketed and promoted diversity. Instead of emphasizing differences between genres and artists, labels began highlighting connections and shared creative values. The performance also had lasting effects on music education and artistic development programs. Music schools began teaching improvisation and cross-genre collaboration as essential skills for modern artists. The Rose Bowl collaboration became a case study in creative courage and artistic flexibility, explained Berklee College of Music professor Dr. Patricia Williams. We use it to teach students that the most important musical skill is the ability to listen and respond authentically to other artists. The impact extended to how venues and promoters approached concert programming and artist development. The success of the Michael-Tupac surprise collaboration inspired more experimental and risk-taking approaches to live entertainment. Everyone realized that audiences were craving experiences they couldn't get anywhere else, said venue management expert James Morrison. The Rose Bowl showed that the most valuable commodity in live entertainment is genuine surprise and authentic emotion. The collaboration also influenced how artists managed their public images and career development. The positive response to Michael and Tupac's partnership demonstrated that vulnerability and artistic risk-taking could enhance rather than damage an artist's reputation. The Rose Bowl performance showed that artists could be stronger together than apart, reflected entertainment lawyer David Rodriguez. It changed how we thought about competition versus collaboration in the music industry. The 60,000 fans who witnessed the collaboration became part of a community bonded by shared experience of witnessing something unprecedented. Many formed lasting friendships based on their mutual presence at this historic moment. That night created a sense of connection between strangers that lasted for years, said fan Maria Santos. We all felt like been part of something important, and that created bonds that went beyond just being fans of the same artists. The performance also influenced how music historians and critics evaluated artistic significance and cultural impact. The Rose Bowl collaboration became a benchmark for meaningful artistic partnerships and creative courage. The Michael-Tupac performance proved that the most important moments in music history often happened spontaneously. noted music historian Dr. Kevin Young. It reminded us that great art comes from human connection, not just technical skill or commercial planning. The collaboration's influence extended to how other entertainment industries approached creative partnerships. Film, television, and theater professionals began looking for ways to create similar moments of unexpected artistic magic. The Rose Bowl performance also demonstrated the power of live entertainment to create shared cultural experiences that transcend individual consumption of music. The image of 60,000 people witnessing something unprecedented together became a model for how art could build community. That night showed that live performance still had unique power in an increasingly digital world, observed media studies professor Dr. Angela Davis. You can watch a video of what happened, but you can replicate the feeling of being there when history was made. The October night when two legends chose friendship over fear proved that the most powerful force in music is the magic that happens when great artists trust each other enough to create something entirely new.